feel that energy? You feel it? Listen to this. It's a build-up. We're going to be going in, and it's searching for wisdom within the madness. That's where we're going. We're going towards someplace wise. Because you know why? It's all going to end. And why not be as wise as possible up to the end? All right, so let me talk about the show. Let me talk a little more in depth about the show. Today, by the way, Tom Brogan's coming on. He's, So my website's halfway finished. And sometimes I get down this rabbit hole. I hyper-focus in on something. And I want to get it to perfection. So then what happens is there is no such thing as perfection as far as the human condition is concerned. Anyways, I'm trying to get it perfect, and then I spend 6 hours doing like 2 things trying to build my website. 2 things in 6 hours blown, 10 hours blown. It's 3 a.m. and I could have just pressed copy, delete, and that would have solved the last 6 hours of me doing some shit that I've been effing up on until I decided to watch 3 YouTube videos on how to do it instead of just 2. Oh, copy. I should have just deleted that thing instead of reconstructing my web page around a problem. Anyways, so I need help on that. I'm thinking about just buying one for $60 and then just kind of filling it in. Perfection. But man, I'm in it. The guy I have on the show today, named Tom Brogan, is like the Fonz. He's a little bit of Chong. Like, he's just Chong. He's got a definite Chong. A little bit of the Gilligan from Gilligan's Island to him. There's some of that in there. Like, that splashes some nostalgia. Man, when I was a kid, I loved Gilligan's Island. About 1.5 years ago, I decided, there's some Gilligan Islands on this free channel here. Let me watch a Gilligan. And man, was it bad. Whew. Man. Another one that was really bad, who I thought was the best, was Batman. Boy, they played it so straight-faced, almost too much. Like, everything was labeled, and it was clearly like a joke. The bat pole is labeled. The bat pole? The bat computer, you know what that was labeled? The bat computer. Anyways, I don't know. I thought maybe at the time it was for kids younger than me, like 1-year-olds, and they, he's teaching them how to read. But anyways, that beyond me. I like the pretty colors and the pows and the boom and the baths and then the heavy drama of like, ooh. So, but anyways, I watched that again and it was like, it ain't that great. Although the one that does hold up when I was a kid and watching it, Star Trek, kind of still hangs there because it's got that science fiction element. Like, okay. It was rough in space back then. You could be a bit, Captain Kirk was basically just a big chauvinist, I'm a man in space, I'm a man kind of vibe. I will punch first. But this man, Tom Brogan, I think is even, as far as being a human being who's like the coolest. Oh yeah, I got off on Gilligan. Yeah. Anyways, but he is like Chong, but he's like a professor too, and he like slips through time because he's thin and tall, and he's always been thin and tall. And I bet when I talk to him right now, his face is going to be thin and tall. What else is this guy like? He's like, he's also a mystery. There's a mystery about him, there's like even, it's like there's depths, that he has, that these are just the depths that he is, but there's even deeper depths. But he just coolly rolls along with it. Tom Brogan, yeah, me and him are similar in 3 very interesting ways. So I asked him to start his video because he doesn't. So he's an older guy than me. So his tech savvy is, I believe, worse than mine. I mean, you can be wise as shit, but you can all of a sudden be 70 and picking up fucking Twitter and shit, or even care about it enough to pick it up, you know. But he is on Facebook, and that's where you can send pictures and see where you're being at, and you know, all the happy times. Remember all the happy times Facebook used to be? Now you go on, it's the saddest thing you've ever witnessed. You ever just sit on it and just go like, you know what, I'm so depressed, I'm gonna spend 3 hours on Facebook for no reason and just scroll forever. Like you can go, I'm gonna try and scroll till the end, and it never comes. Days and weeks. You could be like, there could be a new marathon, like Guinness Book of World Records, scrolled through Facebook for 15 years and still hasn't reached the very beginning yet. Oh, man. Facebook. Anyways, I let him in. Oh, Tom Brogan, where art thou for, Tom Brogan? For thee has been lateth, and then I messed up, and then now you mess up, and oh... Maybe that's another similarity between me and Tom Brogan. I'm a messing up on the tech, and he's even more messing up. If you could only see what I'm looking at, and that is his name. Oh, yeah, you can see it. It's right over there. There. Oh, there he is. That's him. Right there. That's Tom Brogan. Hold on.
It says I'm speaking.
You are good. It was me. Yeah. It was me. I have a mixer. I turned down the volume sign. Mixer.
I used to work in a radio station. I know the errors that can be made, my friend.
How many can you possibly make before going on air? Like, what is the worst mistake if you're go on air? Like, bam, you press the go button. What is the worst mistake you could have made with a checklist that you didn't do?
I don't know. Probably no. I'm always ready. I was always ready at my radio show.
Really?
I really was. Yeah. I don't remember any show where I started thinking and where I had oh boy.
All right, but just think about it now. What would be the one that you wouldn't want to have like messed up on? Is there some kind of button or something like, oh shit, like I'd have to be high not to have pressed that or turn that knob?
Speaking into the mic without actually, turning it up or having it on, and just sitting there speaking into a mic without realizing that I'm not on the air. That would have been pretty nasty.
All right, I'll tell you something. Before I did
lost a few people.
Before I did this this YouTube thing, for about 2 months, I was doing a Facebook live show, and I did a 3-hour live show with my volume off. So
there you go.
For 3 hours, saying the most brilliant shit I've ever said in my life. I'm like high as F, and I'm saying the most brilliant, wonderful stories, and like I've never remembered them or told them before. Flamboyant. It was the best. And then... what?
So we could record our shows at the station, and so you know that type of experience. You end up pulling your disc out at the end.
Right.
Maybe you want to listen to it on the ride home or something.
Oh shit!
On the blank, nothing. How did you find out that you had the yap the whole time with it off?
Well, I was gonna. I was about to, because it was live, so everybody was watching nothing. I was going to save it in my, in my drive, so I just have it. And I decided to, listen to a little bit and like, So I just got rid of the sucker and did not look back, because if I would have, it'd be a lot of sadness and despair. When I found out, those are some of the best stories I ever told in my life. And I didn't have the fucking sound on. Oh my God, dude.
But there was always the next. There was always the next show, so you could always recover.
Right. That's the
That's what I
beauty.
liked about it.
Yeah.
You always had another show. It was guaranteed.
Right. True. You can always make it up. Would you get called by somebody if you were talking and you were completely oblivious? Would you have gotten a call from somebody?
Possible. It is possible. Somebody might have called the station in a long blank of silence.
Does the manager not really do that?
Yeah. Because the station normally would have something going on there, so there might be somebody
Right.
calling, or even the station manager who's tuned in, or somebody, another DJ.
Right.
Calling, especially in a long, like half an hour or something. I'd say, yeah, something followed by
right.
Hey, how you doing? Hello, WOMR. What are you doing? Oh, jeez.
Whoopsie.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. I would feel pretty badly right there.
So the radio station that you were on, that was I wrote down some of your stuff, by the way.
Going on right there.
You were.
But it beats dropping an F-bomb.
Did you ever do that?
Or playing something that I hadn't really listened to, that with the word "fuck" in it there.
Oh.
On the radio, that would be a real that would probably pose probably more of a question as to, we should look into this guy's show a little more.
Right.
And if that happens, people could call the station, and then they complain and get it started, but. It only happened once. I was with my girlfriend, and she pulled an album off of, I think, Janis Joplin.
Yeah.
And I play this fucking thing, I put it on.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time in the station that day. It was an afternoon show, and sure enough, she said, "Fuck!" And they said, "Oh, Jesus." But nobody called, probably, the 2 or 3 listeners I had at the time.
Right.
Cared or didn't hear it themselves.
Oh,
it
man.
amplifies in the station if you're the DJ, I think. You hear it, but if you're just the listener, it just goes by. There was another time, though. I transferred from a comedy show at night. My first show there was a comedy show where I played comics. I put it out there, and comics sent me CDs.
Oh, cool.
And I played their stuff on the radio.
Yay.
At night, from midnight to 2 a.m. Great show. I loved it. And then I transferred into a morning show, and I brought some of the comedy with me. And one of the pieces I had was George Carlin, a long interview with him it's about 16 cuts. And it's one point, and he's talking about the first time he says shit in Vegas. And he says shit in the thing about 10 times. Shit.
Right.
Oh, fuck, I got calls at the station from that. And then he's dropping a fuck bomb here and there.
Oh,
I'm sure I was pretty sure that fuck wouldn't have gotten in there. But
right,
I think it was shit, and I guess you can't say shit on the radio. Something anyway.
Maybe now you can.
Says, yeah, it was shit. That's what he was talking about.
What year is
this comic thing about? What's that?
What year?
What year?
Did this happen?
That would have been 2011 or so. I transferred from the comedy show to the morning radio show.
Oh.
A music thing. It was a music thing from the 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Monday mornings.
I would have thought in that year you'd been okay.
I was living in. I had a winter place in Provincetown, and that's where the radio station was on Cape Cod.
Mm.
And I only lived about a block from the radio station.
Nice.
And it was like, whoa, wow, man! I'm right here in P-Town. Why would I want to be working? Up. I'd rather be sleeping at night and enjoying the radio in the morning.
Right.
And enjoying Provincetown at night. So I switched to the radio, and the opening came up for the morning, drive guy or whatever you call that.
Yeah.
But it was community radio, so wonderful, wonderful station. WOMR.
Was that some of your
92 point on Cape Cod, Provincetown?
Was that
Since about 1983?
Was that some of the best times of your life?
It was a good time. It was a wonderful time for the period I was on Cape Cod. I really liked doing it.
Yeah, right.
Really got into it.
Yeah, right.
I was going to record stores and the common, and getting in with the owners of the record stores, and what a great. I had albums and hundreds of albums, I gave it all away when I moved to Boston. I left the Cape about 6 years ago.
Okay.
And I came up to Boston. And I only had a Mazda Miata, so I could only take so much stuff. So I jettisoned all my furniture. No, actually, I put my furniture in storage. And came up and got an apartment in Boston. And then donated my radio, all my albums to the station, which they then selling on eBay, I think.
Wow.
Because I have a great collection, and I still have a lot of stuff on my computer from thousands and thousands of songs on my computer. So I got stuff from the library, and I just jam it in, download it into the computer, just thousands of songs on my computer.
What's your favorite?
I just let my computer pick the shows for me. It'll run an 8-hour show for me, and it's better than I could have created from my music. So many songs I would never have picked. The computer picks, and I'm like, oh, I'm so happy you did that.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known that before.
Can't hear, but wait. Maybe, yeah. Still choppy. Well, this is the way of 2020.
Shit.
Yeah.
Seems to be my mic or something that's happening here, Mike.
You should probably do a scan disc thing. His bits are so probably bitted. I can see him though. Look at that guy. Look at him. All right. Tall, thin face. Right? Nah. This is so weird. Man, this is because I haven't seen this guy in a while, and I did not expect a silent movie. Dang, he's looking at that computer like it was one of them bones from monkeys was looking at 2001. All right, you see him? It was a bone. They just were nuts over it. Bone, and then threw it in the air, and all of a sudden, monolith. What the hell? Movie was weird. Even as a kid, I was like, what's going on? There's a baby in space. Oh, God dang it. I hope this isn't a bust. Man, we ain't even gotten started. Is my mic on? Yeah, I'm fucking sweet. I am sweet. And then, mute. You can see me, right? So you see me. Okay. All right. We can't talk. ... Oh no, he's frozen. Ain't that the thing that you don't want? Oh, you can hear me. Really? Ooh, sassy. So he was talking about his worst fear in the radio. This is my worst fear, that I don't even get to talk to him. That guy's a teacher right there. Look at him. Bummer, man. This blows a donkey hookie. All right. Now, this is a restart. I should just restart the whole show, right? Get in the mood. We'll talk about something completely different now. I'll pretend that whole thing never happened. Here we go. And let's start the show. Oh, shit. You would not believe who'll be on the show today. You would not believe it. You would not believe it. It's going to be Tom Brogan. He's on the show. He isn't linked up yet, but he soon will be. We've already talked for about 15 minutes. That's what happened now. And then we're gonna redo the show. And now we start here because I paid for this and I have it for 25 bucks. So yeah. All right. Oh, look at me. Hey, look, I can't help it if I'm white and I was raised in the 80s and there was Ozzy. Can you resist? He bit the head off a bat. Of course I'm like this. Blame him. I was into disco once. Loved it. Disco Duck was like my favorite song for a couple of months. Brick House, forget about it. Bell-bottom pants, I had them. I was 11, sure, but still. 11, 12, 13, those are some years. Star Wars came out. I was in there when I was 12. That's like prime soaking up stuff. Anyways, Tom Brogan, I resent him the thing. I hope I can do a show, and maybe this is the end of the show. Oh shit. Well, this is the end of the show. Thank you for watching. Man, what a letdown. But here's the deal. I got to put out content. So this is content. It didn't waste your time. It was interesting. What was going to happen next? Was he going to get in touch with him? Clearly, this is the end of the show. Man, at least I talked to him a little bit. Right? There's a radio thing in there. Have him go to a Starbucks. Just stalk in the corner. Get that free Wi-Fi and get all in here. Alright, anywho. Either this is the start of the thing and he comes on right after the song ends, or this is the end of the show. What's it going to be? I don't know. I'm going to wait for like 15, 20 minutes. If he doesn't, if he can't, if we don't, this is the end, and then all will be black and that will be it. And you'll be like, oh man. Or else I'll get in touch with him. Let's check it out. What's going to happen? Let's get to the heat of the meat. And this right now is not the heat of the meat. This is the, what the fuck of the duck. All right. Ooh, he's in. Let's see if it's going to happen. Maybe this is the end of the show or the beginning. He's terrible with technology. Oh, so bad.
Joining audio by computer.
I hear the hello, Tom Brogan.
Yes. Hello, Darren.
Good.
We're back in action.
So this is going to be me and you talking show.
My first experience. I'm a virgin on the podcast.
No, let me.
No. Let me finish for a moment. A virgin on podcasts. So when I got in here, I did the wrong things a few times. Fiddling around. But
yeah.
Pretty much, I came on her thigh.
Wow, that was a real left turn, dude.
So this time around, the second time, I had a little more knowledge. I had a little more compassion going on.
Yeah.
And here we are. Everything is good.
Here we are. So it's kind of like having sex in the dark. That's what we're going to do. We're just me and you are going to have mind sex in the dark, but not be dirty, because we are on the radio technically, kind of. Anybody can hear this. There could be little kids. So can you read me clear and crispy?
Yes.
Good.
Very much so. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to make it so my face is big.
So we were talking about George Carlin and saying shit and fuck on the radio, and that's where we kind of got lost, I think.
Right. All right. So let me just fix one thing so I can focus my mind on you, because I want to give you all my mental attention. Give me
please,
1
please.
second. Ooh. All right.
Yep.
Whoa. Let me marvel at what's happening right now.
I'm sorry again?
Now, okay, good. So this is going to be... Oh no, his sound's out again. Sorry. I live next to a train track. Oh, that was you? Oh, I thought that was the train track I was living next to. Never mind.
Oh, you live next to one also?
No, I'm just fucking with you.
Maybe they were both going by at the same time.
Right. No, I'm just fucking with you, man. Tom Brogan. Yeah.
I think I first met you you come down to Florida. Are you from Florida? In Orlando? I remember you had been to Chicago, or you were doing a bit about the Chicago, or maybe you had just arrived in Chicago and you were doing a bit about the post-Chicago NBA championship and the riots in the streets.
Oh.
I think you had a bit on that when you had first arrived in Chicago, 91 or 92 or so.
No, I think 92 is when we met. We met like 92 at the Improv, mostly.
Mostly at the Improv when you're ectomorph period of time. But
Right.
I knew you as a stand-up single comic before that.
Okay. I remember
I do remember
you.
that.
Yeah, I remember you as being. I think I heard about you before I met you because of your experience in doing comedy, and also.
At the Improv, great days at the Improv, man.
So
R. O'Donnell.
I think you're and I, Tom Brogan. As I was looking you up on Facebook, and I realized that you and I have a lot of similar life experiences. What year were you born?
1947.
1947, dude.
Yeah, man. I just turned 73 years old.
You are like
last Saturday.
Oh shit. You were born during the time when everybody was having a lot of sex after World War II.
Absolutely. I think that's the game plan. Yep. I'd say that was my parents. My mom said she would just keep having kids. They just stopped coming, but she said she would have just kept having. There were 5 of us.
Technically, you are a victory baby.
Victory baby? I suppose it would be 1947.
Still within. Yeah, you had 9 months. I mean, that World War II elation lasted for like 5, 6, 7, 8 years after that war. I mean, it was like everybody was like invigorated. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like
the economy boomed, during that period of time.
Dude, everybody was like happy.
Yeah.
Not every single person, because there were segments of society that were the not happiest. But I'm saying as a generality if you just look at the statistics or whatever, statistically it was like productive, a lot of babies booming with the babies, and you were a baby boom. You were part of that boom.
Baby boomer.
You have an older brother? Oh, sorry.
Leave the family out of it. I don't deal with it.
All right, no. I'm not going to talk anything about that, although in the intro, I'm sorry. I will edit that if you need me to. What I'm saying is, I just want to know, you already told me that you just as a generality, as a human thing, where did you fall in line as far as the child within the family? So, in other words, I'm just looking at... So you're a middle kid. A middle kid, okay. Right, middle kids are interesting. I'm a firstborn. So we are different in that way. But I always felt you were a lot cooler than me. There was a coolness to you, dude. And I wonder if that's an aspect of what a middle child is. Are they the cooler kid within the family because they see both ends?
Oh, I like that, Darren. That's good.
We follow similar paths in life. In other words, our experiences have aligned in a few different places. For one, you were in the Army. I was also in the Army.
You were? No, I didn't know that.
Right? So that's one. 2, you were a teacher. I was a teacher for a decade at CPS here, teaching history.
Oh, shit. No, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. We both went to college, so that's a thing. We both are fairly tall, and we both are thin. I'm not as thin as you, but that's a thing. We're both bald. That's a thing that we get from Mom, I guess, that gives that to us. And
I think so. My father had a full head of hair.
Right.
Yes, I think from my mother's side. Yeah.
Right. My dad was bald, but it had just happened to be from his mom, so he didn't give me the bald thing. It was from my mom, whose dad was bald too. So, genetics. But we can't do nothing about that. That's just the way we were born. We were born to be bald.
I did accept it quite a while ago. I had the shaved head there for a while. I did that routine.
All right, can I ask you a question? I talked with now you can. I'll edit this out if you want me to, and but I don't think you will. It's fun. I hope. Anyways, so I was talking with Steve Seeger, and I said, "Do you have any Tom Brogan stories?" And he went right to one where back in what, the 90s or whatever, you shaved your head, and I do remember when you shaved your head. And is it true that some girl came onto you really hard?
Oh yeah, at a bar up, and it was a Sunday night, I think. We were in there just hanging out, and she came on to me and wanted me to go home with her, and I was like lolling around having a good time.
And what do you look like? What do you look like at that point if you were to look outside and look at yourself?
I had shaved my head and my eyebrows.
Whoa.
Or on my face, and fully shaved my face.
Shit, dude. Man, that's hardcore.
So the bartender is like looking, and she's trying to get me to go, and I'm like, oh, what are you in such a hurry for? She goes, you're not in a hurry? I was like, no. She goes, you're not going to die? I'm like, what? She was going to give me a mercy fuck, apparently.
Oh, man.
She got up and she said, you look like that on purpose? And she stormed out the bar.
Oh, man. If you would have known that in retrospect, would you have made a different decision? Would you have slept with her?
No, probably not. I don't think I would have changed that. I think I made the better choice. She may know, he's going to die anyway. I'll give him this shit.
Right. Well, your karma's better, because if you do go to sleep with a person under basically a lie, and the lie, you're being kind of in a way evil a little bit. So
that would be true too. Yeah, and I didn't follow that route.
Right? No, you're a good person. Look at you, Tom Brogan, good person. See,
I think she caught me by surprise. I didn't expect that.
Right.
I'm not looking at like I said, I'm not looking at myself in the mirror.
Right.
I don't know. You
shaved your head and you did not look back.
and the eyebrows, I think, did it.
Look at you. Yeah. Of course, the eyebrows are. Yeah. If you're gonna assume somebody might have cancer, and not just have shaved their head for a random whatever, it's the dude who doesn't have any eyebrows. So she's thinking you had full out chemo. You're all of maybe 150 pounds at 6'2". And you've totally shaved. And not only that, but you got kind of a thin head and stuff, and it gives the illusion you're even skinnier than you are.
Right. I think I grew the eyebrows back fairly.
Yeah. You didn't want to live a lie. Oh, no. Okay.
That was at the bar up by Zany's there?
Yes.
It begins with a B, I think.
I don't know the names. I never frequent them that much, but yes.
That was in that place there. That was a gathering spot at the time.
That's right. It was just to the right of Zany's across the street. Is that the one you're talking about? Or are you talking about the one around the corner?
You walked out of Zany's and took a right and down like half a block or a block or so.
Yeah.
As far.
And it was on the left-hand side of the street where Zany's was on the right-hand side of the street?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I remember you there. Now that you mention it.
I used to smoke cigarettes in the bar. I used to roll my own, and I'd be...
That's right.
Rolled my own. One night in there, I put pot in the joint and the smoke that I was rolling up. It was like packed. The place was packed. Saturday night or something.
Right.
And I'm sitting at the bar and I'm drinking a beer and I lit up this cigarette with pot in it, and the pot fucking stunk up the bar around me, and the people were like, "Who the fuck is smoking pot?" And the bartender, who the fuck is smoking pot in here? Starts calling out, and the people around me are going and pointing at me, going, "It's him! It's him! It's him!" I just keep smoking the cigarette, and the bartender goes, "No, he rolls his own. He's just smoking a cigarette." Who's smoking the pot?
Oh man! Well, speaking of pot, I do remember that bit on stage that you did. I mentioned it to you in a message about you. I remember the one bit, and I think I saw you at the Funny Firm do this. I think it was the Funny Firm. And you did the one where you held your breath for so long, your face got really, really red, like you were doing it for how long did you do it on stage? Do you remember?
Like time-wise? How
long did you hold your breath? Do you think it was a full minute?
No, it was long enough to get 3 good, like, nasal out, something like that.
But it was a while. I mean, it was one of those kind of jokes where it's all about that timing, and what you did is the punchline is you made your face red as F.
Yeah, you could hear the audience going, "Hey, look at the face."
Yeah, you were scaring people. And then you'd blow it out, and there was a big laughter of relief that you didn't kill yourself on stage.
I suppose I could. I think I could breathe through my nose and could make it look like I was still holding on to my breath.
Right.
But I don't think I did. I think I actually just held it. And then,
I think you. Yeah, I remember seeing you, and I knew what you were doing. I knew that you were definitely holding your breath, but you were also pushing your face to be as red as it could be, also. So you were doing 2 things at once to make your face even redder. You were kind of just, sort of focusing everything up there, and it was effective. It was effective because I remember it right now.
I think it was. I don't think I think it was just a reaction to me holding my breath. So I'm guessing that I did hold my breath.
Right, but
I wasn't trying to blow anything special in that route. I just knew that was happening. I could feel it. And then the opposite. And then the exhale.
Yeah, exactly. The exhale. That was the long. Wow. Okay. So I wanted to get back to our similarities. So you were born in 47. I was born in 65.
Holy shit. I was graduating high school. Just starting college. When was 65?
Right. And
when's your birthday, Darren?
January 8th.
65?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a senior in high school. Oh, just starting to date the latter part of my high school girlfriend.
Nice.
About the time you were born.
Right.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, 1965. I wasn't. Jesus, what am I? 18 or so? 18 years old.
Right.
About to be 18.
So when you were born, but you moved around a little bit when you were a kid. True.
Yeah, my father was a salesman.
Mine too.
And okay. And my dad was selling electric transformers.
You
know what those are?
Yes.
I believe what they're doing. Yeah, I think everything wasn't on the same circuits and all. And I think these transformers could connect different types of. I'm not quite sure how they worked. I'm guessing from the word electric transformer. That was being able to change currents or voltage or something, to make things more uniform. But anyway, it's a huge selling thing, and his company was out of Chicago, Jefferson Electric.
Okay. Now,
but he had been in the Army.
Oh.
And at the end of the war, he is stationed in Boston at the Armory.
Nice.
Boston, which is still here in Boston. Same building is still here.
Heck yeah. And
he's stationed there, and I guess he makes Boston connections. So his boss back in Boston, in Chicago, maybe he's just getting the job as the salesman for that company in New England.
Okay.
But New England didn't have any of these electric transformers, so my dad was bringing in a brand new product to the area, and it sold well. And he did really well. And then apparently his boss, from the story I got, was that his boss got jealous of him being successful and brought him back to Chicago, and that's where his family was located, and my mother's family was also from Chicago. Okay. So that would have been. I'm in the middle. I'm like October of the second grade. We move from Wellesley, Massachusetts. But I've already been to a couple of schools. Okay. And 3 schools by the time I reached like second grade. And then we got to Chicago, and I started another school in the second grade there in Chicago. And then, all my father's uncles and aunts, and well, two aunts to be. Some of them were just dating,
Right.
and they were, just young guys. My dad was like one of the older guys in his family. I think the oldest boy, second oldest in the family. Like a 9,
Right.
big, my dad had. And then I loved it. Oh man, my mom's uncle was there. He worked at Loyola. And
Sure.
taught at Loyola. He was a Jesuit. He'd come over to the house. He always had funky little gifts for us, and he was a funny guy. And I loved Chicago. Absolutely loved it. I had a friend down the street.
Wow.
Grade school I went to, the area was River Forest, and at the time, and it's 54 or so.
Wow, what a time to be a kid.
Yeah, and some of my classmates had farmers, and so we would go. Not too far from my house. I'd walk over, somehow get over to their farm.
Wow.
Big expanses, and the train would run by their property and all that kind of shit. It was really cool. And then walk back to this kind of suburban place, which was like really just turn like bang bang. You were there, and then you were there.
Right.
Very close. And then, so in my class, the kids are in there in overalls and shit like that from the farm.
Right.
And it was cool. We sat on these benches, desks, except the tables and benches. Everybody sort of sat and kind of neat. I loved it. I think I learned a thing, but I don't remember. And
so you had a good childhood. Were you ever bullied?
Well, let me move on to that. Chicago, no. I love Chicago. Had no bullying going on. We had, although there was a gangster who lived down the street from us, and we used to try to go peek at his house.
Oh.
And that we would be, somehow chased around by the gangsters.
Whoa.
That was as ballsy as we were as my time in Chicago.
Right.
But we go on vacation, and we're coming back from vacation from Massachusetts, back to Boston area. We're coming back to Chicago, and we get to the Cleveland, and my dad says, anybody want to move to Cleveland? And I am no, and all the rest of the family says yes.
Oh, no.
I didn't even fathom why they were saying yes.
No, they were having bad experiences.
No. And shortly thereafter, they'll say, I'll buy you a big house. It's like, oh, fuck. We had a beautiful house in Chicago. I love that house. So fucking well,
no.
So I was ripped to Cleveland, Ohio.
What? And how old?
What happened was my dad was going to clash, I guess, with the boss of the company.
Got you.
They worked together.
How old were you?
Now I'm
in Ohio.
Starting third grade. So what am I, 8?
Okay, I was not. Just to parallel our lives, I was born in Cleveland. And then basically, my dad was kind of salesman. He worked for, a bunch of other companies. He actually
in Cleveland. He worked for companies.
No, in Cleveland, I was born. I was basically, my dad was 18 and mom was 18, and they were 18, and they had me. And then my dad was going to college, so we moved down to where he was going to college. Then dad gets a job with the company as a salesman. Then we moved to where that is, and then he gets sent to another place, and we moved there, and then sent to another place, and we moved there, and there, and there, and there, every year and a half. And every single place I go, as I go to school, I get bullied. Boom, 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 boom. Every year and a half, hardcore for at least a month when I first get there, and then little bits and pieces for the rest of the time I'm there. And then I move. So that's where we're different, but I was born in Cleveland. Also, I lived in Acton, Massachusetts for a year.
Ogden, Massachusetts.
Acton, Acton.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. That's, I think, south of Boston?
Yeah, near Concord.
Oh, Concord. Okay, I know where it is. Yes, Concord, Lexington, Acton, going out northwest of
right.
Boston.
Yeah, it was one of the worst experiences of my life as being a young kid from being bullied. Because
bulliers. When I got to college here, I came here to college. I could see them as being bulliers as younger kids. They
right. They were mean, dude. Mean. Like it was.
I could see the potential in them. They're living in college. They wouldn't mind knocking somebody out. So a lot of those guys. And I was like, "Whoa, that wasn't really what I was coming from in Cleveland. I didn't really run into that a lot."
Right. Well, as a sixth grader, I really, it was partly my fault. I fucked up.
Well, every year and a half.
1970. Okay, I was there in 1976, by the way, in Boston. How about that?
You were what in 1976?
I lived in Massachusetts in 1976, the bicentennial.
I'm on Cape Cod then at that time, that summer.
Wow.
I was teaching school on Long Island, and I would have my summers off, and I was teaching sailing on Cape Cod.
Oh, that's cool. That was the time to live in Massachusetts, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And I loved it, man. I think that they had, I think it was 18 beer. I think you could drink. I remember they lowered the drinking age at one point. I was already 21, but I had a bunch of friends that were 18, and they were all able to drink together.
So let's go on to a little bit other different experience aside from where we lived. The Army. So when did you join the Army and why?
Well, I'm graduated from college in '69, and I get my physical call, and I get a job. I get a job with Ernst & Ernst accounting firm in Cleveland, Ohio, which is their main office. And Ernst & Ernst was one of the big three accounting firms at the time. So it was a big deal to get a job at this place. My father thought, and my father actually was by that time was pretty high up in a company that I think had Ernst & Ernst as their accountants. So I think that may have helped me even get the job. I don't know for sure, but I was surprised they hired me. I was one ship student in college.
Right.
So anyway, I get the job in accounting, and the guy says to me when they hired me. Meeting. I said, "It's all right. So you can start any day after the day you graduate, or up until like July 26th." I said, "Oh, okay. I'll see you on July 26th." It's like a jaw dropped open. Apparently, everybody, and which I did find out, I was the only one that hanging head from July 26th.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad I did because my buddy says, "Let's go to." I got a call from a guy I went to college with, and he lived in Warren, Ohio, just south of Cleveland.
Right.
And he had a 62 Impala convertible, blue, beautiful car. And he bought for the senior year in college and drove it around a lot and went places senior year. So he says to me, "Let's drive across country. Let's go to California."
Nice.
I said, "Oh, heck, I have 2 months. Let's go." So we did the cross country trip in 1969.
Wow.
From Cleveland, Ohio to California, and we stayed out there for
San Francisco by chance?
Didn't get San Francisco. I did go to San Francisco in '68, and then
that was a good time.
I was there in '68, and I went to I met this family in Newport Beach, and the daughter was at a college up just north in San Rafael.
Right.
She said, "If you get up to San Francisco, you can come stay at our place." She's with a bunch of other girls.
Nice.
So I did that, and she was great. She took me in the city. We had a great time together, and
dude,
friends. And,
yeah.
Cool. So I got to San Francisco in '68. So 69,
wow. That was the time of love, dude. Free love, dude.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, everybody that went into these places on the waterfront.
Oh my God, dude.
As these big handsome black men, they all look like Chambers Brothers. They're all dressed in those clothes, with hats, and they look like. I said, "You got Chambers Brothers right there? Jesus!" I'll meet the Chambers Brothers later on.
Right.
But that they were favorites of mine at the time, and it's just wow, this place is pretty cool. But we were really, I was really a beer drinker, and so was she. So we got absolutely shit-faced in the bar.
Nice.
I had a car, and somehow we managed to get over that bridge and back up to San Rafael. I should not have been driving.
No way.
I'm going about 50 miles an hour on the road, and we're both asses off. It was one of those situations.
Wow.
Poking along the road, cars flying by. I said, no.
Dangerous.
But we got home. But God willing, I was lucky. I've been there, and no doubt about it. I've been a very lucky man. I figured in the Army, I was the luckiest guy in the Army. I get into the Army because I want to get out of Ernst & Ernst. I absolutely hate the fucking...
Oh, really? Interesting. Okay. Because for a second, I thought you loved it, and you got sucked out because you were forced to.
Miserable. Absolutely hated it within weeks of working there.
Ugh. Yeah, I understand. Ugh.
My buddy I had another guy I went to high school with, and he was working in Cleveland as a teacher at a school, junior high. And he was happy. He loved his job.
Oh,
we would
wow.
get together, have beers, and I'd be miserable, and he'd be happy, and it was like, oh, this is not good.
No.
And I began to drink a lot.
Oh, no.
And I thought, well, to myself, okay, what's the situation here?
Mm-hmm.
I get my physical, and I pass the physical, and then I get a notice that I'll be drafted in November.
Right.
And then I cancellation of that notice because they are going to institute the lottery for the first time.
Right.
In December. So the lottery comes up, and my number comes up, number 61. So I'm going. They were taking 30 guys a month, so I would be the first guy to go in March.
Shit.
I want to get out of the fucking accounting firm, so I say the Army, do you mind if I come in a month early? He said, fuck no. So I went in February. That paid because my paperwork actually never caught up.
Oh.
So I'm sent to Vietnam. They were sending guys to Vietnam if you had a year left.
Right.
You spent your year there or longer.
Yipes.
Earlier. So they sent me there 11 months ago.
Were you shitting your pants?
No, I was happy. I was actually a month shorter than everybody else when I got there, with all the other guys I arrived.
Right.
Going home in 11 months. And I had my luck, that was one lucky thing right there, just making that choice to go in a month early and get out of the accounting firm. I was going to kill myself in the accounting firm, and I thought, okay.
Oh, really? You hated the job so bad you were thinking about actually killing yourself?
No, I would have drunk or accidentally ran into something in a car.
Oh, right. You were subconsciously being very reckless with your life.
Just in a miserable state of mind.
Right. Yes. Bad. Alcohol, yeah, that'll turn your id into the dominant force, and it'll do what it wants.
Yeah. I wasn't smoking any weed at the time. I was a drinker.
Right. That's a depressant.
Boston College was a drinking college.
Shit.
I was a joint out of Boston College, and that just carried on as a miserable I just had this job. So anyway, I'm out of there. And I'm in the Army on my very first day in February, right? And we were in a barracks in Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Okay.
And whoever the charge sergeant is there is yelling at everybody. He wants to take everybody somewhere, but he leaves me and another guy my age or near my age, and then two younger folks in the barracks.
Right.
He tells us to wax the floors and clean up the barracks. So we get that machine, that waxer machine, that spins around,
Yep.
It can be kind of cumbersome at times. So anyway, we did the floors, and we're chatting it up with this guy, because he's actually 2 years older than me. I'm 22 or 22 when I get in there. He's 24 already. He's a lawyer. He graduated from Ohio State with a pre-med, and then he went and got law school, and his goal was to become a pre-med, a medical lawyer,
okay,
and also a politician. So he wanted to be in the Army, and he wanted to go to Vietnam. I put that on his record. So what had happened was the Army, prior to all that happening, he kind of formed this idea after what happened to him. He had his physical, he passed his physical. The Army said to him, you're a lawyer, why don't you come in as a join JAG Corps, and you could be a lawyer in the Army.
Wow.
He said, well, yeah, how long? And they tell him, well, it's 4 years since. And he said, well, no, basically you're fucking drafting me. Why don't you just bring me in and be a lawyer for 2 years and let me go home? I said, fuck you. We're going to make you, you can draft you, and we'll take care of you when we can draft you motherfuckers. See the infantry.
Whoa.
And so apparently they must have written him a letter. He had some kind of proof. He took this information to his congressman. It's 60.
Smart.
69. Right. And this time, the anti-woman was moving.
Yep.
The congressman takes this thing into Washington.
Right.
And this guy, Gary, tells me that on the end of a bill that went through Washington, attached to it is an attachment. The Army had gotten this guy Gary, I won't mention his last name. It threatened him because he wouldn't, as a civilian, they threatened him because he wouldn't do what they wanted. They have no idea, blah, blah, blah. Gary would be able to pick any job that a 2-year draftee is open to.
Okay.
Any job. Okay? So Gary did all the research on the jobs, and he says to me, Tom, this is the job that will give you the most freedom and the most safety. Chaplain's assistant. And this is how it's going to happen. Well, in a couple of days, we're all going to be in some big barracks, and there's going to be a chaplain going to come out, and he's going to ramble on, and everybody's going to be fucking asleep. And it's going to be warm in there. It's going to be warm in there. And they're going to be asleep. You and I are going to be awake. The chaplain's going to say, this is the masters, and this is the father's services at this time. Here. And then anybody want to be the chaplain's assistant, meet me in the back. And bingo, Gary and I rushed back to meet this guy. He's a fucking Irish priest.
Yeah.
He looks at Gary and he says, Gary, and that's the guy's name. And he says, I know all about you, and you're going to be a chaplain's assistant. It's all arranged. And then he looks at me and he goes, how about you? I'm Tom, and you're Brogan Irish. You're not Irish. Boston College. Yeah, you
Right.
That's right. I'll do what I can for you. And one thing, do you type? I didn't fucking type a word.
Right.
Sure, I type.
Sure.
Oh, you're in. And so he puts it down. So I'm a go. And so, but he says I can't guarantee it. But Gary is a guarantee.
Right.
So Gary and I go through basic training together, and Gary has bad knees, so he's going to fail out, or they're going to make him redo basic.
Right. You've got bad knees. That's a out. That's a, like, you got to get out. Can't be bad knee in the military unless your brain's super great.
Well, there you go. And that's exactly what happened. Gary went into the office and completely arranged the fucking office of the company.
Oh.
They let him slide on everything as long as he did whatever they needed him to do in the office, which was a breeze for this guy. He was
right.
quite a character. And not a particularly great-looking guy. If he ever hears this, I hope he's not embarrassed by it.
Don't worry.
Well, he had such a touch with women. I was just, wow, this guy would really, again, it wouldn't pay off for him in a few months.
Right,
So,
that's a personality right there.
We go through basic, and we get to Fort Dick after we chaplain's assistant school, first typing school. That's the first thing is out is AIP, 3 weeks of typing school at Fort Dix. So there's the Army. They're going to take care of my typing skills. It's not just like what I need. I didn't need to, we're going to make any difference if I could type or not. So that made that lie even, okay, I could do that. That's all right. That's pretty small. So I learned basically how to type enough for the Army, and then the rest of chaplain's school is in Fort Hamilton, New York City.
Okay.
It's in Brooklyn under the Verrazano Bridge.
Right.
Right on the water, and it's small, and it's the induction center for like New York and the New York area.
Okay.
But we were separated, and more like a college. We went to classes every day for in different religions, different beliefs, and then kind of what your job would be as a chaplain's assistant, which is to serve the chaplain, do the paperwork, and then you're his bodyguard because the chaplain cannot carry a weapon.
Do you handle the loaves, the wafers? Are you a handler of the wafers? Do you give it to him?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the unconsecrated ones?
Oh,
because they're just pieces of bread.
Okay.
I would fill up a cup or something that he needed for them, for whatever he needed with them, and he would what they call consecrate them, and then makes them, under the belief of the Christian, the Catholic religion, it's the body and blood of Jesus Christ right there in that bread.
Did he do other religions too? Was he multi-religion helping people?
As a chaplain's assistant?
Yes. As a chaplain.
They would do, if needed be, they would do services on different levels. Well, although the Protestant wouldn't do a Catholic Mass, but he would do a service for everybody, you know, kind of a general thing,
Right.
if need be. Because the chaplains, I found them to be really pretty cool people. This is the guy I worked for. He was much braver than I was. I mean, he was a much better soldier too. I mean, I was a shithead.
Right.
He took care of me. I didn't take care of him. He took care of me.
Oh, really? Okay. But you were in Vietnam.
Yes. Yeah. And that you know, I'm in Fort Dix with Gary Picario. Gary, he gets picked up by the main chaplain, who's a colonel at Fort Dix.
Okay.
Right out of chaplain school, you go to Fort Dix.
Mm-hmm.
Back to Fort Dix. And so Gary's picked up by the head chaplain, and so he just spent his whole time with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm over at the main chapel of the base of Fort Dix.
Okay.
Which was spit polish and, you know, and starch uniforms, KP duty, and living in a barracks with like 60 other guys in the same room. Like, fuck this.
Right.
It just blows. So I say to Gary, one night I'm saying to him, we're out for dinner or something, and I'm like, Gary, this fucking blows. He goes, oh, listen, there's an opening over in the basic training area at the basic training chapel. I said, there's no KP over there. You know, this fucking, you live in a dorm with like another guy. That's it. Oh, fuck, get me in bed. So he does. He gets me transferred over there in like a couple of days. And that's great. I love it. I'm now with a chaplain who's, you know, got actually, you know, these other chaplains at this other base, at the main base, they were busy with fucking everything outside of taking care of the troops.
Right.
Whereas these guys, now this guy has to take care of it. So he likes the troops, and he hangs in the office, and he's a nice athletic guy. He likes to play handball, so I play handball with him. He'd go down to Philly and he'd take me and the other chaplain. The other guy I roomed with was another chaplain assistant. And so he'd take every once in a while, he'd take us down to Philly. And it was cool. I just stood down in a dorm room with another guy, and I was able to go home and get my car. I wasn't no KP, no bullshit. And,
right.
Really had my. And in that job, I could, you know, you worked on Sundays, so I would take Saturdays and Mondays and Tuesdays. So it was cool. I could leave the base. I'd go up in New York and I'd go up in New York. Come back on Tuesday and I'd go against the traffic. It was really cool. The guy Gary was right about most freedom. This is the job, Tom, that will offer you the most freedom and the most safety.
Wow.
I'll find that in Vietnam. So I'm in that position for about 5 or 6 months, and now I'm getting close. I'm under a year, and I get my orders to go to Vietnam. So I go. It's 11 months to go. I go in March.
So can I tell you a story that you told me back in 1993 or 4?
Yeah, sure.
And corroborate or not. So anyways, so you said and it blew my mind when you said it, when you revealed this thing that happened. So you told me that the chaplain told you that sometimes people will come in from the field, soldiers in Vietnam after a big battle, and they'll make a confession to the priest that they orgasmed in their pants while they were in a very fierce firefight with the enemy.
No, that wasn't me. I don't remember anything like that. Then I don't remember any priest ever.
No, so that never happened. Oh, I wonder if it was somebody else. No, I think it was you, or I don't know.
No, I can't imagine me saying that. I don't remember anything even although it's probably possible. I mean, I read that in books.
Maybe I just attributed it to you. Here's the way I think I might be misremembering it. You said you're a chaplain's assistant, right?
Yeah.
And I heard a story from a chaplain's assistant somehow. Maybe it was written, maybe it was something, maybe it was in a Psychology, Today magazine like 20 years ago, whatever. One of the things that would happen is they would be so the fear of death emotion and all that they'd be all jacked up on like all the chemicals dumping into their system. And one of the things that would happen is they would literally just have a wet dream, but during this high stress moment. And it happened enough to be kind of, cliche in a sense. So there was enough people saying it was like, yeah, that shit really does happen out there in the field. Is that wild?
Yeah. I'm not surprised. I've read the same situation, but I don't have any. I would say this about the chaplain that I worked with. I can't remember him ever divulging anything that any communicated.
Okay. Yeah, that's against the rule. You'd be the bad chaplain.
I would think so. Yeah, he was into what he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
He loved the military.
So it wasn't so your chaplain wasn't like the bishop from Monty Python.
Well, this guy was. He wanted to be in the Korean War, but it ended just as he was 18.
Oh no.
So he ends up, I think he was in the Army for a couple of years, and then he became a policeman in Brooklyn. He was from Brooklyn.
Whoa.
He became a cop in Brooklyn. And then he became a priest. And I think his route of the priesthood all along was to become a chaplain. Because
wow.
He wanted to be in the military. And this was a good route for him to go. So he was very, I guess religious, but he's a great guy. But I always thought he was a little conflicted as to whether he was more military or more priest, or whether they met themselves together very well for him. I guess that's probably what happened. He liked to drink beer, and like the other guy liked to play handball.
Right.
This guy liked to drink. So fucking, I'll drink beer with you, pal. I like to drink beer too. So
nice.
He and I would drink fucking beer in the chapel late at night. We had a TV. We had an small ice box.
Mm-hmm.
We would get fucking hammered together.
Really? You with the chaplain?
Yeah, me and the chaplain. The other chaplain assistant would join us sometimes, and other priests would come by, friends of his, to have some beers. But most of the time, it was just he and I and TV nights, and we would get fucking hammered. And then he would have to get up at like 5 a.m. He had to get a helicopter to fly out like at 6 a.m.
Oh, wow.
So he would barely get up to get to down to the chopper and get out to the fire bases and work all day with the troops. And saying masses and confessions and often officers, the brass needed to talk to him to sort of unload whatever shit they were on them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made him so powerful, because the top elements of the military gave him their guts. And he held those. And so he was next to God. And I'm the guy next to the guy next to God. And they left the chaplain assistant alone. So in Vietnam, I lived in the chapel, up on a hill, by myself in the back of the chapel. I had a room. And I didn't dick with the fucking, guys down below and none of that shit. They did it, I didn't.
Right.
They did. Nobody fucking said a word, and I'm shit-faced with the chaplain at night. I'm okay.
That's awesome.
Cool. Fuck with him, man. Again, to go back to Gary, this Tom, this is the job that's going to offer you. So, a couple times over the course of the time in Vietnam, the chaplain decided that he better stop drinking. And he'd dry out.
Right. Yeah.
He would turn to a fucking monster.
No.
Oh my God, pounding on my fucking door. I'd sleep till 9 a.m.
Yeah.
I'd get shit right and sleep till 9. He'd be gone at 6, And the other chaplain might be up, might not be out. He'd be doing the same thing I'm doing.
Oh, shit.
So we'll sleep till 9. He's pounding on my door at like 7 a.m.
Right.
6 before I got to fix him up.
Like a drill sergeant now.
Yeah. What the fuck are you doing? Get
Oh,
up out of
fuck.
bed. Chapel clean. I want that you dust every chair.
Oh, no.
No
All right.
more going out to the fucking orphanage. I'm saying fucking. No more going out to the orphanage every day. None of that shit. You sit right here in the office and you wait to see a patient come up. Oh,
no. I see.
And I have to drive him to he'd be angry. I'd be angry at him for just fucking ragging at me. You know, well, you're not doing your job. Oh, for Christ's sake. So, the other guy, the other chaplain was also, you know, kind of, although he doesn't really directly serve under this priest, he is like, this guy's really kind of turning into an idiot. But we got to do something.
All right, here, can I stop you here for a second?
Yep.
I see, and all that what you told me as a creative person, not that it would ever be done, but I see a video short or like a short film, and the short film is you guys having a chaplain who is drunk and then decides, so the same scenario where he stops drinking, then he turns into a drill sergeant, but the whole show is basically kind of a comedy of how you guys are getting him drunk without him knowing, like in all different forms, and you keep him drunk for the rest of the time until you have to leave. So it's like 6 months of like having to get this guy drunk. So I see that would be the short film. I don't know how it ends. Probably finds out.
He on this thing for, like I'm saying, about 4 or 5 days. I have a diary. It's about 4 or 5 days or so.
Wow.
And we go. Me and the other guy go to the PX, and we get 2 cases of Coors beer.
Yeah.
The gold can. We had a gold can.
Flashy.
And we put it in. Fill one fridge up with one of the cases and put the other case next to it. And as the chaplains were out in the field, right, we can hear him. The chopper would come in from the field and he'd fly right over the hill where the chapel was. We hear him coming in. So sure enough, the fellow got like 4:30 or so, 5 o'clock. Here's a captain, and they fly in, and the helicopter drops right down at the bottom of the hill. There's a landing pad where they're going to drop them, and then we're on the ocean. This place faces right in the ocean. Beautiful.
Wow.
Chulai, Vietnam. Sometime Google it up. It's just fucking beautiful.
Chulai. All right, got it.
South of Da Nang, about 50 miles. Anyway, so the chaplain. Actually, the old base is still. Parts of it are still there. I went back to see it in 2015. So the chaplain's gone. So it's hot. You know, it's fucking. This is hot. It's sweaty hot. The chaplains, and they walk up the hill, which is it's a big steep hill. They come up. They live up on the top of the hill along with the chapel. And so they come up, you can hear them coming up, and just as they're cresting the hill, we pull a can out and put it up on the top of the refrigerator, and Barry and I pop the can, and we both sit back, and we're drinking cold with the condensation off the cans as they walk in. And he looks and he sees the can on the refrigerator with the condensation running down.
Whoa.
And to pop, and go back to normal.
You're back. He couldn't resist.
That was it. That was it. And he was back into so he broke that twice.
Wow.
Twice to get him back in. And basically, the first time he went back on his own. I think we didn't have to do anything.
Okay. He just gave in.
But the second one, he was when it became like, we can't belong. I'm not going to belong with it.
Yeah. He's like,
So we went right back to it with the TV and the beers, and we were fine. And we had a little garden outside. We had a lot of Vietnamese refugees living around the base, and the refugee camp made up of old Navy Air Force crates from the like crates and shit. People live in these things. I was inside one day, and I was like, "What the fuck am I?" They did. This guy had moved maybe 4 times. He had to move. So most of the city's lost, gone, and he had one chest. It was like an heirloom or something that they had.
Okay.
And he was standing, looking, and what are we looking at? Plywood. It's a fucking crate, a huge ass crate that must have carried some kind of a huge ass truck or something.
Right.
But anyway, that's what they were living in, that kind of stuff. It was really
wow.
And he was living in a pretty good place, but other places were just nailed wood up as best you could with tarp over the top.
Wow. That is lucky that you were in that. You were where you were and doing what you did at that time. I mean.
When I get to Vietnam, everybody else everybody else, and we're in a herd of people when you get to Vietnam. You know,
Right.
we're in a reception in now near Saigon, in Bien Hoa, Long Binh,
Right.
I think it was 90th Replacement Company. And all these other guys, they have all these other jobs. Some of them are going to go out and go out into the field and be infantry, and I've got this cush-ass job, and every place you go, there's a chapel. So you get to Vietnam, and it's 95, 100 degrees, and
Right.
everybody's. I go to the chapel along with another assistant that I meet along the way, guy Walt, and we knock on the chapel door. Door kind of creaks open, and a face comes out. We're a couple of chaplain assistants. We're just in. The door swings open wide. Chaplain assistant, come on in. Chaplain assistant welcoming chaplain assistant. Want a beer? Got a fucking refrigerator. Yeah. So we drinking cold beer in this place while the other guys are staying outside in the fucking sweat and heat. And we're sitting around, lounging around inside this air-conditioned chapel office at the reception station.
Look at you.
And then the guy says, "Listen, all right." After a day or so, he says, "I'll take you into the city in Saigon, into the chaplain's the head chaplain in Vietnam. I'll take you to the office there and find out where you're going to go." Oh, shit! Okay, so we go in there, and the head chaplain in Vietnam at the time when I'm there is Catholic. By the time I'm there in Vietnam, the Catholics have garnered the positions in the military to be in power, at least in the chaplain's world.
Okay.
Everywhere I was, all the heads of all the departments, always were Catholics.
Right.
So anyway, this head chaplain, he's a colonel or something, and he goes, "All right, me and Walt," and he goes, "All right, you guys go on and take a look at the map over there. It's filled with pins." He goes, "Everywhere there's a yellow pin or a red pin, or some color, that's for assistance." So okay, so. We're looking at the thing, and I had a buddy who I met, and he was shot 5 times in the Delta on knuckle. And I had another guy. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm totally enraptured in this story.
I didn't mean coming and beat the ground on my phone or something. So, what was I saying?
You're talking about you were in there in the chapel, and the guy dude was shot 5 times, and then there was other people.
Oh yeah. I wasn't going to go to this. Thank you. I wasn't going to go down in the Delta, and then I had a college buddy who had recently just been killed in the Central Highlands.
Oh no!
And I look over and I point to this place on the beach, and I'm thinking, well, I love Cape Cod. I love the beach. I love the sail.
Right.
Hey, Father, or I can call him Father. Yeah. Father, what's this place like? Chu Lai.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice. It's beautiful. It's right on the beach. Oh, okay. I'll go there. And Walt goes, I'll go there too.
Wow.
Okay, sounds good. So me and Walt are headed to Chu Lai. So,
Wow.
A couple of days later, we leave on a plane with a bunch of other guys who were headed to Chu Lai.
Mm-hmm.
Chu Lai is a very active place with the AmeriCal division, with a lot of light infantry and a lot of artillery and a lot of depth.
Very, very
My Lai.
big stronghold.
My Lai is just south of the base of where we were stationed.
Right.
So in that area.
So it's like a real tough base, like a tough fortress. They're not going to just try and attack it because they'd be repelled hard.
I think trying to attack the base had been given up years and years before that, so relatively safe.
Right.
Helicopters all around it, every night with the searchlights and
Shit was defended.
All along the way, and flares going up all the time.
Nice.
So it was, I lived right on the edge of the base in this chapel up on the hill. And that was the end of the base, and I was
that's the one
there.
place they're not going to mortar.
Well, that's interesting because I just read a book. A guy that I was there in the same time with was a lieutenant, and I have in my diary that he and I and Father Nick, the chaplain, and a couple other people were drinking beer, and this guy's hooch, who's a lieutenant, just before I'm going home, a couple weeks before I go home, and he ends up sending me pictures of myself at an orphanage, back about 4 or 5 years ago. He catches me on my Facebook page.
Okay.
About orphanage, or I have Dan Coy Orphanage. And he sends me pictures of myself at the orphanage that I had never seen, or that I had some I'd seen, but I didn't have the exact copy that he was sending me. it turns out that he had the original role. He worked in the photo lab.
That's awesome.
And he sent me pictures of that I had never seen.
Hooray for Facebook.
Yeah, the connection through Facebook. Through Facebook, and then I think there's a veteran site that I know. Maybe he connected to somehow. Or probably maybe the Van Coy. I have a Facebook page on Van Coy Orphanage. When I first went looking to the orphanage, I've been looking for that orphanage since I left Vietnam. So I left Vietnam. That's what I mean. I'm up in the chapel. Let's go to that for a second. In his book, there's a big cross in front of his chapel. It's built by the Navy Seabees.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a big cross in front of it. And he said the cross, that the VC were using the cross as an aiming point.
Oh, shit. So it's just a target. It was like opening up a target in your base. It's like,
Yes.
we put the target right over there. Why are we going to change the name? No, that's a corporate thing. We got to make sure the logo stays.
To the right cross or something.
Oddly enough, there's a lot of mortars coming in towards it. None have hit
Well, we
yet.
would get rocketed. But by the time I'm there, the rocketing is coming from much further away.
The cross. Take the cross down, dude. Put it somewhere else.
But I took that to me, and I wrote to the author, and I said, I love that little piece in there because it helps verify what I was first told. This is a job that's offer you the most safety and the most freedom at the same time. You see,
Right.
Other jobs will offer more safety, and other jobs will offer more freedom.
Right.
But this is the job that offers equally the most of each.
The balance to the mostest.
Balance, right? And that was that. I love the freedom, and the safety was certainly a good thing. I would take that too.
All right, so Tom, technically you could say that God was truly watching over you while you were in Vietnam, right? Like you had this kind of.
I don't know about that. I don't know about the God part.
I'm saying it just as metaphor. It was like it was the best place to be.
My chaplain assistant had nothing to do with God. Other guys, their chaplain assistants were religious,
right.
And they were out because they were religious.
Right.
I was looking to fucking scan through and get out of the army and get my time.
It was more of a metaphor. It's like you just had a great experience in that position that just happens to coincidentally does this thing supposedly called God. But I'm just saying, you had a nice experience in the realm.
This was certainly a way to look at it in the God belief thing. That man, you're being looked after. I was lucky, and I knew I was being. Yeah, I was looked after. I guess you could say what luck is. And luck being looked after. I go to cross the street, and all of a sudden I look to the left when I wasn't thinking about doing it, but all of a sudden I do. Sure enough, there's a fucking bicyclist, rolling down.
Right.
That's just, somebody tapped me on the shoulder. I take that for some.
Mm-hmm.
I never looked at it quite like that way there. In a big, like multi-month thing, I look at it more, and maybe those are a bit like the thing crossing the street.
Right. No, I just do it kind of for fun. It's always fun, even though it might not be true.
Something spiritual guiding me. Sure. I would say that's true. In Vietnam, will turn out to be the biggest changing experience of my life.
Absolutely. Dude, yeah.
Much of what will roll off after that is just a direct result of having been in Vietnam.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks in, the other chaplain assistant says to me, "Hey, you want to get off base and go over and go to an orphanage?"
Oh.
Well, I didn't care about the orphanage. I just wanted to get off base. I didn't give a shit about anybody at that time. I was a pretty wealthy kid, and I was a snobby fucker, and I was just an asshole. And let's go to the orphanage. Let's get off the base is all I wanted to do. So I get off the base. We go to this orphanage, and there are a couple nuns that run the place, and one nun speaks English, the rest don't.
Okay.
But she's sort of she's the bridge between the orphanage and the military. I had to find out. And the orphanage is really very dependent on the military helping them with food supplies, raising money for them, and shit like that. This was all happening before I got there. It was in process. I was just stepping into the process.
Sure.
I didn't even know it. The guy never said anything to me about it. He just said, we're going to go out and go look at an orphanage. He never gave me any info. So we get to the orphanage, and I'm looking at these kids, and I'm thinking, these kids are awfully pale, and this kid over here is black. What the fuck is going on here?
Oh, right.
And then sees my face, I guess, or she reads my mind, and she says, most of the children, many of the children here are children of American soldiers and Vietnamese mothers. And they are considered the dust of the earth. Excuse me.
It's too bad.
Actually dirt of the earth.
Wow. And they're just kids, They had nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it. And they were beautiful kids.
And then sometimes doesn't culture suck, like the way people think of things?
Well, it's culture. We were the.
I'm just saying it kind of sucks as on a human level. Kind of.
Yes, it does suck, but it's just the way it is, So, and that had to be dealt with the way it was.
I know the reality, but I'm just playing. If I was God, I would change that aspect somehow. Come on, take care of all my kids, please. They're all my children. I am the Lord. Everybody's equal here. Come on.
Oh, I don't take that seat. No shit, I never thought of that.
I'm just, if there was a perfect world, every human would have some dignity, and maybe a parent or a life coach.
Yeah, no, maybe as a younger guy, I don't see that in my diary anywhere.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, it's just a big idea. That's all I got. Big ideas. See.
Well, this orphanage, as long as you're talking about the whole spiritual aspect of it. I was enamored with, not beyond enamored with these kids. They were adorable. And they're young, little babies. They were like two to a crib. It's just fucking
wow.
Two kids to a crib,
wow.
And then the next, the kids who were out of the crib and just walking. And there would be 15 of them in a room, and that room was a concrete floor, and because concrete was cooler than it was very hot.
Right.
And the concrete was full. So the kids would be and I'd sit down on the floor with them, and they would crawl. And it was life. I'm in a war zone, and I'm surrounded by life. I couldn't have been more happy.
There was a lot of love there, just natural love. Just thank you.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's pretty overwhelming. That is a lot of love to handle, bro. It's like, how do I process this?
I got a camera, and I started taking pictures.
Right.
I started sending them home, and I started to try to tell the story of what was happening in Vietnam.
Oh, that's good.
But this is not the only place this is happening, and this is frequent, and this is a tragedy. It's happening right in front of me.
Yeah.
And it's all, again, it was all part of the, with the American, I went back in the American newspapers. Not in the years, I've done a lot of research on it. Vietnam, the whole thing. Anyway, in the American newspaper, they're touting themselves because what they had done in the local bill was build a new maternity ward.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the maternity ward because the soldiers are fucking all the women. And the women are driven to prostitution because they're refugees, and it's just fucking awful fucking story. And,
that's life right there too. Everybody wants to fuck.
Absolutely, and these are young guys. They're going to fuck.
It's fun. That's the thing about it. It's kind of fun. Have you ever done it?
And you drop it. You drop a kid, and then
that's the side effect.
The family disowns the daughter, and she's going to keep that kid, and the kid then ends up at the gate of the orphanage.
Yeah.
And then they pick them up, so one after the other. So that's these babies that keep coming in. Now there were others that would come in, that maybe their parents are killed in the war or harmed.
Oh boy.
Others economically cannot afford a child.
Oh my God! And everybody needs love.
That's what drives the orphanages now in Vietnam. Is that people can't afford.
They just need love and people to care.
They're just children. It's not their fault. Nothing happened to them. This is just kind of a
raw
deal.
That's what people got to get.
in my pictures, Darren, you see them, the little scrawny kids when they're in my first pictures, and we begin party-based exercises begin to close down these things in this. We get to pull every all the soldiers out of Vietnam, and they're closing the bases down. All the fire bases are being closed down, and we're out scavenging food from the fire bases that close and from the different units on the Chulai base that close, bringing food out to them by the truckload.
Wow,
and
you're doing a good thing.
Yeah, you see the children get fatter and healthier. And
Oh,
bigger
right.
over the course of the time.
They're,
and we're out there. I'm out there 4 or 5 times a week. I'm off that fucking basis as much as I can, and I'm out with the orphans. We're playing, and we're swinging, and we're teaching them English at the local school. The next door was a sport. I go over and try to. And my first teaching experience was teaching English to try to teach English at a 7th grade English class.
Your Vietnam experience was even better than I thought emotionally.
In my diary, I have about when I go back to the States, I have to do something more like in the line of helping people, and I maybe work and then I strike on in the diary. A couple of days, I strike on teaching. I think I'll be a teacher.
Good.
Elementary school.
Yeah.
That's what I'll end up pursuing when I do come home.
And you did.
I go back to the accounting firm. The accounting firm had to hold my job open. It was part of that. And if you drafted out of your job had to be held by the company. And you get it immediately upon coming to return it. So I go back. By the time I go back, I grow a beard from the first day out of the army. So I've got a beard a month later when I go back into incidents. And you come back. And I think they didn't want me back, and I didn't want to come back. So I tell them, no, I'm not coming back. That's it. Thanks very much. And I applied to the local college, and I'm a college graduate with a business degree. I applied to Cleveland State for education and start up an education process, and then get an apartment with that guy that I'd gone to California with. He and I are now going to become apartment roommates after my Vietnam stay.
Wow.
In Cleveland.
That's
and
cool.
I'll stay in Cleveland he gets married, and he moves out, and another buddy moves in. Because the teacher, the guy who's a teacher, he gets me a job at the Cleveland Job Corps. He was working at the Cleveland Job Corps with the psychology. He'd been going to school while I was in the Army, and he got a psych degree. And he was working at the Cleveland Job Corps, and he gets me a job as a sub-teacher at the Job Corps. So I'm going to school, and I'm teaching. And I'm liking it a lot. And I get a call from a school on Long Island that my sister-in-law's sister runs. It's a private Catholic school of the Holy Child. Would I come out and take the 4th grade? Because the 4th grade teachers got to move with their husband to Puerto Rico. This is like a 2 weeks before school and stuff.
Right.
Oh, fuck. I'm in a group therapy session, so I called the therapist. And I think he can help here. I'm fucking tossing and turning on me. He goes, what is it? Is you got a 50-50 thing, or we don't weigh it all out? I said 50. He goes, I said 50-50. He goes, well, what do you want to do? I said, I want to teach. And he hung up the phone. There you go.
Wow.
I got in my car. I arranged with my roommate in school. I could take off, and I loaded my Volkswagen up with whatever shit I could take to Long Island, and I went out there and I started teaching.
All right.
I taught there for 7 years. It was great. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. 4th grade.
Can we stop it here and continue someday when we're able to connect with the video and with the internet and all that? Whatever time might be a good time, and then we'll continue because. Yeah, we could tell some teaching stories. I taught ESL to South Koreans for a year. So there's some interesting, that would be interesting to see how you taught ESOL.
I'm teaching ESOL now.
Right. I would be interested to know what your technique is different than my 1-year technique teaching South Koreans how to speak English.
I'd love to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have some stories. We watched some movies. I showed him one inappropriate movie. I guess emotionally inappropriate. And the place went, oh boy. They really were active in trying to learn how to communicate with me. The words, why did you show that to us? Everybody was like, why did you show us that movie? I'm like, okay, all right, everybody.
Are you talking about an actual movie?
Yeah, I showed him a movie. Did you ever see the movie The Mist?
Oh, your class. You showed the class a movie.
Yeah. Did you see The Mist ever?
The Mist?
Yes, with Stephen King.
No, I don't think I have seen it. I'm not a big Stephen King.
Understood, but I'll just get to the quick here. At the very end of the movie, after he's trying to escape with his family, and their car runs out of gas in the mist, and they know there's monsters out there that will rip them all apart. He has his wife and child in there, and 2 people he rescued in the back seat, but they only have 4 bullets left. And so then his wife, kid, and both people in the back seat, he shoots all 4 of them. And then he gets out of the car to be ripped up by monsters because his loud sounds are coming. But then suddenly the mist clears and it's army people going, "It's okay. We've got it taken care of. You're safe. We've saved you." And that's the end of the movie. So then at the end of it's such a jonk ending where he was, if he would have waited like 2 more minutes, his whole family could have survived. Everything would have been great and they would have lived in the movie. But no, he just killed everybody. And now he has to live with that. So everybody, oh my God, dude. I almost created a riot. I was like, okay, sorry. It's Stephen King. It's supposed to be terrible. I'm sorry, everybody. And they just wanted to learn curse words, how to call me an asshole.
Was it in Korean subtitles?
No, it wasn't. But you could definitely understand what happened.
No, I get it. I guess they did. Yeah. Sure, okay.
Yeah. I knew it was going to end like that, and it was a little bit of like a sadistic part of me, but it was also, why not see an interesting end to a movie you wouldn't expect? Oh, well. They really got into it, though, I'll tell you. That first 2 hours, they were into it.
Without being able to understand the language.
No, well, it's got scary things happening and, monsters and people being... So there's a really high emotion going on, so they get the gist of the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the movie's basically all these people get trapped in a supermarket and there's like 30 of them in there. And the mist comes over, and outside is basically monsters that are going to kill them all. So then in the supermarket, over time, it splits in half. And one religious lady has all this group with her. And then the other side, they have one gun. And then all of a sudden, there's this big fight and a clash, and somebody gets stabbed. And then somebody gets shot. And it's this big thing, and then all of a sudden, finally, it gets so crazy in there. This guy leaves and somehow gets to his car and is able to take his wife and his kid, or not his wife and kid, his kid and this lady and these other 2 people. And so he's got all these people in the car, and that's how it ends with him shooting them all. They think you got away, but they didn't.
Whole nother movie there in that poor guy's mind, he'll be a background.
Yeah. So I mind fucked all my students. I was like, all right, no more movies for a little while. They didn't want to see any movies. So can we just get to work next week instead of seeing a movie? Enough with you, Mr. Bodecker.
You got goals, sir.
Yeah. I was like, oh, sorry. I just teach it. I just wanted you to learn tragedy. I wanted you to learn the word tragedy. And that was one big lead up to that word. They all remembered it. Tragedy. Anyways, so yeah, I want to thanks, Tom, for talking with me.
It's been a lot of fun there, Darren. A lot of fun talking to people. Well, we do have a lot of connections. It's very cool.
We do. All right. Well, anyways, that was that. I'm just gonna, and then maybe this will be the one that I definitely do in the podcast format. So in podcast format, everything was fine. But as far as on the YouTube format, well, yeah. How much am I really going to edit? We'll see. If you can get to this part. And that's the show. My name's Darren Podecker, and oh my God, bro. Let's end the show. The end of the show. That was Tom Brogan, and I interviewed him, and it was hit and go, and boy, I wish it could have flowed better, but it didn't. And that's, that's the way things are in life, aren't they? You expect one thing, and then you have these big hopes, and he fulfilled all that part, but then the tech fell down upon its knees, and why? But, there was some goodness in there and some wiseness spoken, so these are early shows, and once again, I should put up content, and this is content. So maybe this will be the one that I edit the F out of. I gotta dive into that pool pretty soon, so this will be the one. I'll try and, keep a balance where this is worthy and that's not worthy. And, try and make a decision in my editing. Good decisions. But also have a little bit of confidence that even in the boring parts are okay. I don't know. All right, well, anyways, my name is Standup Comedian, searching for wisdom within the madness. I hope we're getting wiser. Are you getting wiser? Sometimes I feel like I'm purposely not getting wiser. Isn't that weird? I should be wiser and doing wiser things than I am, but I'm purposefully not. Do I hate myself or something? I don't know. Let's see if this music will make the difference in our mind with what we're thinking about. Yeah, I should do better. And so should you. Hey, we all got a little better to do. Let's try something. Thank you very much. My name is Darren Bodecker. Searching for wisdom within the madness. Tom Brogan. Darren Bodecker. Now I gotta edit a whole bunch of stuff. Oh no. Oh no.